Good evening and welcome to our live crafting session this evening. It is, I think, the 13th of April on Thursday 2023. My name's Jenny McCormack and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator based based in the market town of Brackley in Northamptonshire in the UK. Thank you for joining me. We have been using the Dainty Delight stamp set and the coordinating dies this week for a series of different cards. We've also created and decorated a box for some mini eggs, made a gift tag, and we've also made bookmarks and cards. Just looking to see if I've got them to hand. They seem to have disappeared from view. There you go. Never mind. If you've been watching me, you will have seen them already this week. Let me just say, I think I've found them now, of course, as soon as I say that. So here is one of the bookmarks and some of the cards that we've made. We did this one live yesterday. Hi Fran, lovely to have you join us. And that was my sample before yesterday's session. So I thought we would use some more of the dies today. So let's pop these now out of the way. And there are a whole selection of dies. So this stamp set and dies are carrying over into the new catalogue. If you purchase them now, so that is basically before the end of April, you can buy the stamp set and the dies together for a 10% discount. So instead of £58, it's £52 for the combination. After the end of April, when we have our new annual catalogue come out, these will be available, but you will have to buy them individually at their individual price. So the dies are 34 and the Dainty Delight stamps are 24, so 58 in total. So what I thought I would do is use some of the dies that I haven't used. It's a lovely bundle, isn't it, Fran? Fran says she's got these. So what I've done is I've cut out some stalks and I'm going to do two cards. There'll be a similar layout. I just want to show one as a nice sort of bright, cheerful birthday card, and then the other one I'm going to do as a sympathy card. So we've got these stalks here with these little seed heads, and then we've got these flower elements, and they can either go on top or they can go underneath. Entirely up to you. I guess you could do one of each if you wanted to, although it would be fairly well hidden, wouldn't it? So I'm going to do one with the purples and then one with the brown and white. I thought that would make a nice sympathy card. Sadly, we all need sympathy cards. So I have dug out, I've cut two scallop pieces here with the scallop contours dies. Oh, thanks Fran, she likes the bookmark and the cards. And I wonder then, Fran, if you've used these dies, which way round you've put this set of dies. If I just lift it onto here, whether you put the flower head underneath or on top. Be interested to know which one you've done. Hopefully you can see that. So what I'm thinking of doing is having, I'm going to do this one here on the white, and then on my crumb cake piece I've cut out some soft suede. I've also cut some crumb cake, but I decided that soft suede would be better. And you can easily turn these over to get a different angle, like so. And so I'm going to put these on, but with the white flower heads. Just thought that would look quite stylish. So in the catalogue it shows them with these little heads on top, like so, but I've seen them both way rounds. Hi Kat, thanks for joining us. Let's see what Fran says. One shade under, one on top. Oh, that's quite a good idea, isn't it? Let's see if that works. So you could have this one underneath, and then I'll dye stem, and then this one on top, like that. Sort of works, doesn't it? It's a bit like a hydrangea, like that. I mean, obviously you could there is also a single stalk, so you could just use a stalk, but so I'm going to deliberate on which way round those need to go. But my plan is to put these onto this Scallop Contours cut out die, like so, and then either add a small sentiment or a sentiment on a strip. I've got this strip out because I thought with the dots it might look quite nice, but I think it's a bit too big. It needs to be sized down, so I might just use a small strip, or and cut that down to size as I need. So let's do this one first. So any other suggestions? Love the white ones, thank you. Like it on top. Do you mean the flower or the flower head? I wonder, Fran. I think it's, yes. I think it is probably better like that, isn't it? Flowers on top. Flowers on top of the stems, yes. Oh, like that then. That way round. Like that. What do we like? Okay, so I'm just going to put this together, and then I may add a circle for my sentiment, and then I'm going to layer that up. So I have got a, let me see, I've got a piece of crumb cake card that I can cut down, and then maybe put a white layer between it, and maybe I'll emboss that layer as well. So you can see I haven't actually really prepared anything for tonight. I'm just winging it, as they say. So let's just make sure that those have all got their bits taken out, which they have. So, and this looks quite nice even just on its own, doesn't it? Okay, let's grab some wet glue. Oh, and I'll tell you what would be nice is I'm going to stamp. Let me just find it. Quiet Meadow. So Quiet Meadow isn't retiring. I'm really pleased about that. And I'm going to use this sort of set of vintage words, but if you've got any vintage looking words, this would work. I could also use the dots just to soften that background a little bit. Let's grab a block. And this is crumb cake. I'm going to try crumb cake ink pad and see what it looks like. Okay, I'm going to stamp it on the back to get an idea of whether I need to do it. Yeah, that's okay. It's not too inky and therefore not too dark. So just make sure you've got the text the right way round, because you can read some of it. What I'm going to do is grab a post-it note, which have all magically disappeared. I have 2 huge packets of post-it notes and they've just sort of disappeared, so we'll revert to manual. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cover up here and here. It's a bit Heath Robinson, isn't it? But it'll do the job, just so that the text doesn't go off the edge. It's contained within the dots. Not that it really matters, I don't think. Okay, so I've got one there. And then I'm going to have one here. And then one across the bottom here, like that. Okay, I'm happy with that. I'm just going to do the same with a few dots as well. So just to soften this background, and I'm stamping the dots off, and I'm just doing them so lightly so I don't actually need to mask this. Like so. If I lift it up, I'm hoping you can see that. Like so. Okay, right, let's grab our 3 stalks and our 3 sets of flowers. Now you could use a blending brush if you wanted to just give that a little bit of colour. You could use a blending brush, you could use some watercolour pencils and water it down. You could use Stampin' Up markers, you could use a sponge. I'm just going to leave these particular ones white. So let's pop this on. So did we decide on top? Yes, we did. Okay, so just going to add literally the tiniest dot of glue, and if you struggle getting a small amount out, I recommend using our fine tip glue or using a sponge or using a cocktail stick or a little glue applicator. Okay, that's that one. And I'm going to have that one as if it's coming out, but I want to make sure it's going to fit on there, which it is. Having said that, I've got a space here. I might need to fill that in with a few dots. So, smallest amount of glue. I'm hoping you can see that on there, like so. So I hope everybody's had or having a good day. Let's bring this one down actually, like so. Can't believe it's Friday tomorrow. Goodness me, it's just gone far, far too quickly. It's all a bit bunched up now, isn't it? Let's see what that looks like. I can trim this stalk off. Let's put it just in there. So I should have made that one a little bit higher, shouldn't I? Let's see if I can. There we go. That'll do. I want it a little bit higher so I've got space for my sentiment. However I put that on. It might be a circle die or a little strip die from Stylish Shapes. Okay. And in order not to get too glued up, just use an implement rather than your fingers if you prefer. You're less likely to adhere to it or have it adhere to you. Now, I don't know if there's a right or wrong way to this. I have absolutely no idea. Any suggestions? Sort of feels like that it's got more sort of growing bits at the top. Somebody's going to tell me there's a right and a wrong way, I'm sure, after the event. Okay, so I'm just putting these on flat. You could use some glue dots to give it a little bit of height. You could use tiny scrap of dimensionals as well. Just holding that down. Oops. There we go. Okay. Let's do this one here. And again, just a few little dots here and there. I've forgotten I've got glue on here. Let's fold that over. And again, if you're at risk of putting the glue through, then use an implement rather than your fingers so that you don't get attached. Okay. And then that one's going to go onto there. So it's got some relatively sensible sized pieces that you can use. Like so. There we go. What do you think? Now, because I've got this little gap in here, I am going to stamp some dots into there, like that. Or what I might do is get the right colour. Just pop that other stamp back on, and I've just literally put that piece of grid paper on, to just cover that edge. Get it the right way round, and then just adding that little bit in there. And I'm tempted to do the other side. I may end up with the greeting covering this up, but as I've got a little gap and sticky fingers, just pop that in there. Okay, so there's that panel. Okay, now I'm going to do the same with my coloured panel here. So I've got a basic white, and then I've got fresh freesia and gorgeous grape cut out for the flowers, and I can either use the crumb cake or I've cut this in granny apple green, and I think I'm going to do something similar on the background. I think what I might do is use a purple blending brush just to go around these edges. So this is just what's left on the brush. If you watch me on any regular basis, you'll know that I don't clean these in between, and 9 times out of 10 there's enough ink left on the brush, bearing in mind that these get used a lot at coffee and card. Obviously if you left it for a long time and hadn't used it, you would probably need to re-ink it to an extent. But I just got that slightly softer background now, like that, and I'm going to repeat an element of that. So I'm going to use fresh freesia and stamp those words. She says, I have fresh freesia, ink pad, my post-it notes. Okay, and there we go. Just going to clean this off. There we go. So there's that one there, and I've got fresh freesia here, and just going to get it the right way round, and I'm going to stamp this one off. So it's really quite pale. That one, do shorter one there. There we go. So we've just got that little bit in the background. Just going to grab those dots as well. Just clear them off from crumb cake, and again I'm going to stamp a couple of times. There we go. Oh, I pressed a bit hard there, look. Okay, I think we'll be alright. So this time I've got my greenery here, so you could do them 1, 2 and 3. I might do 2 and then a smaller one like that. So again, just a little bit of glue. Glasses are off. And with the white ones, you could add a little wink of Stella to those flowers if you wanted to. So just using my scissors to hold that down, like so. And the same thing. So this is just literally 2 of the dies from that Dainty Delights bundle. Oops. So, and then this one I'm going to cut smaller and pop down here like that. There we go. So I've got 2 gorgeous grape and 1 fresh freesia piece. Now you could also in the background stamp some of the stamps. That would actually have been quite nice. Put those on and then put the dies on the top. So that would be another idea. So let me see, I've got a few bits there I can poke out. So there's 1, 2 and 3, like so. Let's pop those on. And what I might do with this is put a ribbon around the bottom. Slightly hide my over inking. So I released our class in a box details yesterday, well, Tuesday evening and yesterday morning. So thank you to everybody who's booked those already. And if you're on my email list, you would have had an email. And booking for that closes this weekend. Okay. Right, let me see. I have some fresh freesia ribbon here, And what I'm thinking is going to wrap that round and then tie a bow across there. Unless I've got any gorgeous grape left. Evening, Tracy. Oh, hi Julie, thanks for joining us. Let's see what I've got. Yes, fresh freesia and fresh freesia. So I'm just going to wrap that around. So just going to bring that over a bit. Like so. And let's just use a glue dot. Just because they're to hand really. There's one and I can't see my seal. Okay, so I'm just going to wrap that there and there. And then tie a pretend bow in the middle. Like so. Okay, so it gives the appearance of a bow, but you don't have the thickness of the bow, like so. Yes. Looks a bit like an agapanthus, doesn't it? Makes me sound like I know what I'm talking about. I honestly don't. Okay, I do know what an agapanthus looks like though. Right, so I'm thinking for this one, my sympathy card, I'm going to pop that onto a narrow piece of white and then onto crumb cake. So I'm hoping this odd piece of crumb cake here that I used will be the right size. So for anybody who's joined us since we started, this is the Dainty Delight bundle. And this is carrying over. It's our stamp set of the week and it has the dies to match. But it won't be at the bundle price. The bundle retires, but you'll be able to buy the individual elements. Okay, so this is my sympathy card. So I'm going to put a white layer behind this. You could also use some vellum. Let's just see if I've got any vellum to hand. See if that would be an option. Yeah, that's quite nice actually, not quite as stark as the white. Yeah, I'm going to use that. Now you could emboss this piece as well if you wanted to. Just going to cut this to 10 centimetres by 14.35. You could tear the edges of this. I might make it a little bit smaller actually. So you could tear the edges. Hopefully you can see that. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. I'm going to take 0.5 centimetre off. So I'm just using the 0.5 centimetre mark. and I definitely think that would be nice if it was embossed. So I'm going to do that. Why not? What have I got to hand? I've got that nice crosshatch one, because I want this to be suitable for a man or a woman, so I don't want it too floral, so I'm just going to use the crosshatch one. This is one of the pack of 3 basic embossing folders that's now available. Let me just do that. Could have been a bit kinder to my machine, couldn't I? There we go. So if I put it on here, hopefully you'll be able to see that embossing. If you can see that. And you could put a decorative edge, you could tear the edges. What I'm going to do, because I know I'm going to put that on there, I'm just going to put some glue across here, and it'll be wet glue. I normally would use seal or something for vellum. That was my embossing tool landing in my bin. Okay, so I'm going to pop this on here, and I'm not worried about the fact that you can see some of that glue, although with our wet glue, if it's well adhered and it's not too thick, it can you can lose it. Depends on what colour card you're attaching it to, and then that's going to go onto there. I think that makes a really nice sympathy card. I'm going to pop that up on dimensionals. Yeah. Oh, they went in the bin. I've obviously moved my bin because things don't normally land in it. So I'm just going to put one on each corner, and then in the middle, and that's going to go onto there. And I quite like the vellum being loose around the edges. And just going to do it slightly high of centre, like so. There we go. So I may add a sympathy. I might leave it and then decide if it's going to be a thinking of you or a sympathy card. But sympathy was what I had in mind. Sadly, one of my friends lost her husband completely unexpectedly very recently. There we go. So that is that. And then we've got the contrast here, which is the slightly more bright in your face version. And I'm going to pop that onto, I think, a piece of gorgeous grape, like so. Because I cut the flowers out of that, so I can use that just cut around it, and then that's going to go onto a white card. So let's trim this one down. and this is going to be £9.5. And I'll take this one off the top by 13.85. And again, I could emboss this one, although you're not going to see much of it on there. And that's onto a white card. So, sorry if I've gone on longer than I would normally, but I have made 2 cards at least, with a lot of deliberating. So this is going to go onto there. I think I am going to emboss that, you know. Why not? I'll grab the same embossing folder. No, I won't. I'm going to use the dotty one that comes with it, just for something different. Sorry, I've moved away from my table. So, it's a little bit funky. We've got the raised dots there, and then the debossed dots. Hopefully you can see those. So, I'm going to put this one up this way again so I can have that one a little bit higher if I wish. A little bit through the middle to hold it in place. So this is on a basic white card here. And the gorgeous grape is 1 centimetre smaller in size down that side and across the bottom, so it makes it ½ centimetre all the way around, if that makes sense. And this is going to go onto there. Like so. And again, I think I might do it, I don't know, perhaps I'll do that one more central. And I might put a small sentiment in a circle over here. Pop that up on dimensionals and we're done. Now you could decorate the envelope with either the text that we used from the Quiet Meadow stamp set, and as I say, that is carrying over, which I'm very pleased to see. Those words and the dots are just so useful. Okay. So I'm going to have that just very slightly high, but not too high. There we go. So there are my 2 cards with those dies from the Dainty Delight. So you can find these in the current mini catalogue on page 55. These are the ones that had celebration papers to match. This is the Dainty Delight stamp set that I've been using all week. So if you missed those, we had a basic card, we had some bookmarks with some names on, we had this one, And then this one, that's with the dies as well. And then we had our little gift box stamped. So really useful set, I think, for men and women, birthday and all occasions, as we can see here. So this would be a birthday or a thank you, and this would be a sympathy or a thinking of you. So let me just bring that up finally, and we're done. There's that one, there's the vellum behind it with that embossing folder, and then this one has got the gorgeous grape with the dotty. Not sure you can see much of the dots really, but there we go. So thank you so much for joining me. After a quick break, I'm going to be designing for our coffee and card tomorrow in Brackley. I have absolutely no idea what I'm going to do until I investigate what I've got that's retiring that is still available, to give people ideas of some of the retiring stamp sets, especially the ones that are on offer and a really good price at the minute. So thank you so much for joining me. Do take care. I'll be back on Monday. You can catch me Monday morning UK time at 10 AM. And in the meantime, if you've got any questions or queries, don't hesitate to give me a shout. Send me a message or a comment, and I will get back to you. Thank you so much. Thank you to those that joined me live and said hi, and obviously thank you to anybody else who is subsequently watching or has joined live but didn't say hi and I didn't spot you. So thank you so much everyone. Do take care. I hope you can keep crafting, look after yourselves and look after your loved ones. Bye for now.